We have more significant weather shaping up for our Tuesday across the southeastern United States, a snowstorm, and looking ahead to your Thanksgiving holiday time frame, all in today's video. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. If you are new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. It's absolutely free to do, and you get detailed weather breakdowns right here across North America. And be sure to press the like button down below. It helps out more than you know. Looking back to yesterday, a fairly active day across the Deep South, as was anticipated with an enhanced risk of severe weather. We did have so far up to 5 tornado reports across Louisiana and especially into south central Mississippi, 12 wind reports and 2 hail reports for a total of 19 severe weather reports all told from your Monday. And I do have a feeling as more survey teams go out across these areas today that these numbers will be growing over the next couple of days. More severe weather is on the docket for our southeastern areas across the Carolinas, Georgia, down through Alabama today, through portions of northwest Florida, including a slight risk of severe weather in the yellow shaded color. That is a level 2 out of 5 on the scale, especially from the Montgomery area down through Mobile and even closer to the Panama City area there into Florida. We need to be watching out for some scattered severe weather as we go through your Tuesday. But even the Atlanta region, Columbia, up through Charlotte and Raleigh could even start to see some isolated strong to severe storms later on today as we start to have more of that daytime heating. And yes, there is a tornado potential that does continue for the Carolinas, Georgia, down through Alabama and northwestern Florida there. The highest coverage, or potential at least, of tornadoes would be across southern portions of Alabama, far southwestern Georgia, and far northwestern Florida through later on today. So make sure to remain weather aware if you are in the southeastern U.S. as we go through your Tuesday. And let's time this out for you. You can see the rainfall will be moving up across the mid-Atlantic and through the Great Lakes region as we go through today. The southern extent of that rain could be accompanied by some strong to severe thunderstorms. And then as we go into tonight, that cold air that's moving down from Canada into New England will turn the rain over to snow, and we will have a snowstorm for Quebec, down through upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, parts of Massachusetts getting a rain-snow mix, and then some rain changing to snow there in western Maine as we go into tonight. We'll be watching those thunderstorms across coastal portions of the Carolinas, Virginia, all the way down into coastal Georgia, northern Florida as we go into tonight with whatever left over with that, whether it's heavy rainfall or whether it's damaging winds and large hail remains to be seen, but watching out for severe weather nonetheless as we go through tonight. Then as we go into Wednesday, things start to quiet down a little bit. We may have some rainfall hugging the coast of the Carolinas. Other than that, the severe weather threat will be behind us, and we will also see that snowfall will definitely be up across portions of Maine. The Caribou region could be seeing additional snowfall accumulations as we go in through the day on Wednesday. Overall, here's the heavy rainfall expected through Thanksgiving. You can see widespread heavy rains in the purples and the reds. That's at least an inch of rain wherever you see the purple. Wherever you see the red on the map, that's at least 2 inches of rain. So we can see an abundance of rainfall, especially centered on the mid-Atlantic states as we go through Thanksgiving. And we are watching out for a marginal risk of flash flooding today into your Wednesday time frame on November 22nd from the Delmarva region down through the western Carolinas here, through the Atlanta metro area and surrounding areas in Georgia, down through southeastern Alabama and northwestern Florida as we go through the next 24 hours. And then here's the cold side of the system. A few inches of snow could be on the way for Quebec, getting down into portions of northern Maine, interior New England. So areas near the coast will likely see all rain because those waters are still very warm in the northwest Atlantic, so the warmer air will win out. But as you go inland there toward Vermont, New Hampshire, upstate New York, that's where we could lay down a good 3 to 6 inches worth of snow, especially on grassy surfaces, but some slushy accumulations are likely as well as we go through that Wednesday, Thursday time frame. So definitely watch out for that up across New England. Other than that, looking ahead to Thanksgiving Day on November 23rd, here are your high temperatures across the United States and southern Canada. The coldest will be further to the north as expected with the deeper snowpack up there into portions of southern Canada. But even in the northern tier of the United States, Montana, Wyoming, getting through the portions of the Dakotas, Minnesota, and to north central Wisconsin, and then over into the UP of Michigan, we will have temperatures firmly in the middle 20s for highs on Thanksgiving Day. And further to the south, still cool, but we still have temperatures in the 50s and 60s all told across the southern tier of the United States on Thanksgiving Day. And then there we go with the freezing line. Friday morning, the day after Thanksgiving on the 24th, you can see the freezing line moves a little bit further to the south into the Central Plains states and the lower Ohio River Valley. So it's going to be feeling cold out there. The upper Midwest, we'll have lows in the teens as we wake up on Friday morning. So definitely bundle up out there if you are going Black Friday shopping later on this week because it will be cold out there. And we are keeping an eye on our next storm system that will be traversing the country across the Rockies as we go into Thanksgiving Day. Most of us will be precipitation free, but our next Clipper type system coming off of the Pacific Northwest into the Rockies will be spelling out some snow for us across Wyoming, Idaho, and even portions of western Nebraska on Thanksgiving Day. As we go into this upcoming weekend on Saturday and Sunday, that snowfall line will push even further to the south across Colorado, getting into Kansas, and maybe even a little bit further south than even this model does show. It really just kind of depends on where the coldest of that air does lie, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. It is a few days away after all, but here are the snowfall predictions. Again, we want to say predictions because this is not a complete forecast, but giving you an idea of what you can expect for Thursday, Thanksgiving Day on the 23rd through the weekend. Here are potentially the areas that could see the heavier snows into Wyoming, into Idaho here, Utah, getting through Colorado, maybe as far south as New Mexico here, and getting into portions of west central Nebraska, northwestern and northern Kansas, and maybe even getting in toward the Oklahoma and northern Texas panhandle with that snow line as we go into later on this upcoming weekend. Well, as we well know that we are in an El Nino and it continues to really strengthen across the central Pacific Ocean. Here are your current sea surface temperature anomalies. The reds and the oranges indicate we are seeing very warm temperatures out there into the waters of the central Pacific Ocean where we look for El Nino or La Nina. Looking at the latest index here, it has taken a major step upward over the last couple of days since the middle of November, and we find ourselves firmly in a strong El Nino officially at a plus 1.7. So definitely seeing a very strong El Nino in play. And just to remind you folks, what an El Nino typically brings is warmer temperatures to southern Canada and the northern tier of the United States, along with drier conditions centered across the Ohio Valley, the Midwest, and the Great Lakes. And then we have more of that subtropical jet underneath of that, where we have cooler and wetter conditions across the desert Southwest, the southern United States near the Gulf Coast, and then lifting up across the East Coast as we could have more of that nor'easter track as we get deeper into the winter months, especially turning into December. Looking ahead towards late November, we're talking the 28th, 29th, 30th time frame, and then turning into the first full week of December. It is taking on more of the El Nino look, where warmer conditions up across the West Coast, the Pacific Northwest, and the northern tier states besides southern Florida. But then other than that, we are seeing cooler temperatures for the south and the eastern United States. And we're seeing that El Nino look, especially with the precipitation, where we have drier conditions across the north and wetter conditions favored across the south. And we desperately need the rainfall down here, so we will take it as we go into early December. Here is your U.S. seasonal drought outlook as we go through the rest of winter, at least through February 29th of 2024. You can see areas in the lighter greens. Drought removal is likely. So where we see drought across the western Carolinas, parts of Georgia, into Alabama, northwest Florida, we're going to likely remove those areas from drought as we go through the winter months. Into the whiter or gray shaded colors here, drought will remain, but it will improve greatly as we go through the winter. So definitely seeing some good news there for Dixie Alley, the southern United States, as we go deeper into the winter months. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. Share this video with friends, family, and on social media. If you did like today's weather forecast and weather content, be sure to press the thumbs up button down below. It definitely helps out more than you know, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their Tuesday out there.